So the big question today is, how different is too different to be compatible in a relationship? Today I'll be sharing with you 3 differences that keep rocking my relationship. My name is Joan Nwosu, and welcome to the Second Chances podcast, a love journey in black and white. Yesterday was a good day, or at least it started out as a good day. So we had a breakthrough moment where Davide, for the very first time, sat down to devour some Nigerian traditional swallow food, pounder yam and egusi soup, and he thoroughly enjoyed it. Yay! 2 differences in culture and food. So that was a great experience. But in the exact same night, he had a complete outburst about no food being left over after Thanksgiving dinner. So you see, in typical Nigerian culture, at the end of every get-together or party, the guests would usually just do away and take away all the food that's left over. But that's my culture, and we enjoy giving away the food. But for him, it was totally foreign, and he just couldn't accept it. Like, he had a complete outburst. And so, again, a difference in culture, yikes, not a good experience. I tried to explain to him, but he couldn't understand. We had so much food at Thanksgiving. Why is there no food left over? Differences in culture, rocking my relationship all the time. So the truth about it is we always hear that opposites attract. And yes, opposites could create that bit of tension, that bit of excitement. But when is too different? When is that difference now a problem? For me, in my relationship, there's a lot of differences that we have, but there are 3 things that usually come up a lot that seems to rock my relationship. Not break it up, but it's just the same conversation over and over again. So here are my top 3. The first one is dressing style. So I'm not quite sure if this is a cultural issue because Davide is Italian, I'm Nigerian, but I always dress up. And he's more of a, yes, dress fancy when we're going to a fancy party or a dinner, but why can't he just wear a t-shirt and shorts and flip-flops? For me, there's never a reason to wear t-shirt, shorts, raggedy t-shirt, raggedy shorts, and flip-flops. No, for me, you always have to look presentable. So this is a discussion that comes up every single time we have to go somewhere, we have to dress up, or even it's just staying at home, because I will always dress up. And he's like, where the hell do you think you're going to? What do you think you are? Some princess from Wakanda or what? But our differences in style, we do joke about it, but I can see how it can potentially be an issue in some people's relationship, because one party might see it as someone is trying to show off, or the other person might see it as someone is trying to be condescending or tasteful or tasteless or put them down, whatever it is. So you want to be careful about this. I joke about it, but this is something that could potentially be a problem in your relationship. So maybe when you meet someone for the first time, maybe look at their dressing style and have a bit of a conversation around it. If it's a pet peeve of yours, if it's something that would drive you up the wall, and just see how they feel about dressing, what is their natural style, and if it's something that you can live with, or maybe they're open to being upgraded or downgraded, who knows? So that's my number 1, dressing style, always a conversation in my household. The second one is around morning routine. So I'm a morning person. I have my highest energy in the morning when I wake up. So when I wake up is when I like to do all my intellectual work. So I could still be in bed and I grab my phone and I'm like sending emails, responding to emails, planning my day, reaching out to my assistant, doing everything that I need to do. I could do that within the first 2 hours of waking up. For Davide, he doesn't understand it. Like, no, the morning is to chill out, to go sit outside, to meditate, to just be relaxed, to gather your thoughts, to just be in that Zen zone. So you can imagine the conversation some morning when he sees me, he's like, oh my God, with the phone again, with this, with that, this morning, why can't you just relax? And so I do understand that we're different when it comes to what we do at the beginning of the day. And I just laugh it off, and we laugh it off. But this could potentially, again, be a problem, because in the beginning, I thought he was trying to put me down and trying to control me and telling me how I should spend my mornings. And I'm like, no, dude, you do you. I'ma do me. Thank you very much. But then I just understood it's what his preferences are. This is what he's used to. This is what works for him. Not necessarily saying that I should do it, but he's just telling me, this is what I do. Maybe you can learn something from it, or, maybe you can ignore it. I choose to ignore it because, again, I do love my mornings and I'm more productive in bed in the morning when I wake up. The third thing that we've had many, many conversations around is the way we eat. So in Italian culture, they usually increase the amount of food they eat as the day goes on. So they start off with something light in the morning. They start off with they continue with a very light lunch, like a salad or whatever. Let's not even talk about their salads. And then they end with like a 10-course meal at the end of the day at 8 p.m. or whatever. For me, I could skip breakfast. I don't care for breakfast. If I feel like I have a coffee, sometimes I want to eat breakfast, I eat breakfast. Doesn't matter. I do whatever I want to do for breakfast. Lunch is probably the most important meal for me. That's when I fuel my body. So I'd have a heavier lunch. And then for dinner, I might just have dessert. Or even if I'm going to have dinner, I might have my dessert before my dinner. Oh my God. When we first started, such a big issue. How can you have dessert before dinner? How can you eat that? How can you snack at this time? How can you do that? How can you do? And we would talk and argue about eating habits and how, again, it's not that one is superior to another. It's just, again, we're all results of the way we were brought up, the environments we grew up in, our culture. That's what we know. That's what's familiar to us. It doesn't make it right or wrong. It's just what you know. It's just what you do. It's just what you've always done. So in a relationship, this could start to cause some friction where, oh, you don't want me to eat what I want to eat. You don't appreciate the way I eat. You don't care about your body. You might start to cross the line, as opposed to just sticking to, this is what I like to do. This is what I do for me. This is what works for me. Yes, I can share it with you, but at the end of the day, it's up to you if you want to adopt some of these things or not. And it's okay. It might not be a deal breaker. For some people, it might be a deal breaker. So again, right in the beginning, please know what your deal breakers are. Have those conversations early on. Be on the lookout for them, because if they're going to be huge problems in your relationship, then there's no point going into that relationship, especially if people are stuck in their ways. And again, we're over 40. We've been through many, many relationships, very difficult ones. You don't want to be arguing about what to have for breakfast. That's such an inconsequential point. There's many, many other big fights to be had in a relationship. So for things that you find are your pet peeves, the deal breakers, they really, really irk you, that trigger you, maybe have a conversation with yourself. Explore if there's room for you to be more accepting, if there's room for you to be more accommodating. Maybe look at why you feel a certain way about certain things that are happening. Maybe it's just one person, you had a bad experience with somebody doing XYZ and now you just believe that you hate XYZ. Consider those things, and if you find that, no, I'm just a person who could never be with somebody who likes to stay in bed and do work, or someone who doesn't go to the gym first in the morning, then make that decision early on, because chances of the person changing, very, very slim. So here's what to do about differences. Know your differences upfront. Embrace, this is who I am and this is the person, this is who they are. I'm not trying to change anybody. I'm here to have a beautiful relationship, companionship with this person, right? So if it's a deal breaker, just don't even go into a relationship with this person. Just end it up front. If you're willing to accept this person, then be more open to embracing some of these differences within your culture, your personality, and all that. And you might learn something about yourself. You might learn that I enjoy this more than how I used to do things, how I was familiar. I think the trick here is we hold on to what is familiar because it's comfortable to us, but relationships are supposed to stretch you. I love interracial relationships because we're so different. So it forces me to see things from a different perspective. It forces me to look at things differently and be like, maybe I should try that. Maybe that's something I'm not familiar with. Maybe that's something that's new. Maybe I might enjoy that. Maybe that language might be more a better way for me to express myself, to find more words to use in my vocabulary, whatever it is. But I'm more open to, I'm going to try to see. But the truth is, there's some differences that are just too big. There are some foundational differences, fundamental differences that, whoa, for me, if I see those, we won't even be a relationship. I'm gone. Deal breakers. So know your deal breakers. Be more open to embracing some cultural differences or personal differences in your relationship, and see if it's something that you might enjoy. So again, the question is, being different is great, but sometimes being too different might just mean that you're not compatible. And compatibility for me is the number one reason why you should not go into a relationship. It will save you a lot of heartache and stress. There are lots of people out there in the world that you are more compatible with. Thank you for listening to today's episode on the Second Chances podcast, A Love Journey in Black and White. I will see you same time tomorrow, sending you love and light.